Hello, everyone. Welcome to Behind the Loo, the reintroduction. It's been several years since we had an episode.
Why is
Um,
that, Brennan?
Part of that was because of how bad the 2023 Cardinals were and how crazy life got a little bit. But we've been wanting to bring this back for a while. We have a new face as well. And we'll go through introductions and then um, we'll go from there. But to kind of give what the format's going to be like moving forward is um, me, Brendan, will go over the Cardinals and different things that are going on in that realm. And then Sean will go over the Blues. And then, of course, we have that beautiful mustached man, Mason, going over the Battlehawks. So we have a lot to talk about, especially for the Blues' future, the hot start for the Cardinals, and then the playoff
The
game that's
playoff
coming up.
push.
Yeah, it's coming on this Sunday. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and just introduce myself first, since I'm already talking. But um, like I said, my name is Brendan. I've been a St. Louis citizen pretty much my whole life, um, and I grew up mainly a Cardinal fan, but I started getting into the Blues later on in life, and then obviously was a Rams fan, and then the Battlehawks came in after the Rams left, so I'm a fan of them as well. But mainly, I've grown up as a Cardinal fan, so uh, that's been my joy for a long time. So like one thing we wanted to do for each of us is go through one of our favorite sports memories in just St. Louis. So obviously for me for the Cardinals, it had to be. Um, I have two answers actually. Probably my number one has to be the 2011 World Series with David Freese. I was in seventh grade when that happened, um, and I actually came home from seeing Moneyball. If you guys have not seen that movie, Moneyball, it's a fantastic movie. But right after that, we that was Game Six that same night. So it was surreal to see. But then also later on in life, Albert Pujols' 700 has to be up there as one of the best sports memories I ever had as a St. Louis sports fan.
Wait, did you
So,
see that live?
which one? Albert?
700?
I saw it live on TV.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't
It
know
was
if
in
that was your
LA. I actually
push.
was. I actually almost went to that game because my brother lives in Los Angeles, and we were talking about going, like, doing a trip down to LA for that series. So I could have seen it live, which would have been unbelievable. But I'll
That
Hang
makes
take
on
me
a
it.
think it
second.
was crazy though, because it was pretty much guaranteed that he was going to get it, right?
Well, it wasn't guaranteed. Well, at that time, it was pretty obvious it was going to happen. But coming in that season, no one really expected him to hit 700 because I mean
Well,
he
remember
Yeah.
was.
there was the huge controversy because they didn't have who was it, Dan McLaughlin talking about it too during the announcements and stuff. Remember that? Because I think that was
Yeah,
also his
because
last
there's an
year
Apple TV
announcing.
game.
Yeah.
Well, Dan McLaughlin, it was his last year because he had too many DUIs.
No, yeah.
Um,
Oh, my
but
dad.
no, Dan McLaughlin. That's a. I'm
Dad
glad we got
McLaughlin.
I'm glad we got Chip Carey as our play-by-play now. But no, that was a big deal. But that it wasn't on a Cardinal broadcast; it was a national broadcast. And Apple TV has been widely regarded, as you baseball fans know, as one of the worst, especially at that time, to watch because the broadcasters didn't know what they were talking about. The overlays are bad because they're all like iOS style, so it's really weird. And like a lot of the cameras are filmed on iPhone too, so it's even more weird with that. Um, but that's pretty much for me. I guess we'll go to Sean next on what was your favorite sports memory and just introduce yourself again.
Well, I'm Sean, and this Brennan lovely said is that I'm the biggest blues fan. I'll probably be talking mostly blues and anything with that going on because my dad got me into it growing up, and I've seen all the heartbreaks and got to live out the joy throughout 2019, which is probably the best part. But probably his best sports memory for me is definitely just the 2019 run. And if I was to choose one specific moment, it was probably Pat Maroon's goal. of number 7,
I
game
remember that
7,
night too.
May 7th.
Do you know where you were?
I was actually at home with Kate and I were watching the game like in my room at my parents' house. So and then like it was like I remember it was so late because it didn't like happen like around like midnight that happened because it
It
was
was
a
like
double
double
overtime.
Yeah, it was double overtime, and just it's so fascinating to think back on now, especially after that year and where Pat Maroon went to, with going to 3 more Stanley Cup Finals and whatnot, and then also like, and now we're like, I think Pat Maroon's one of the most like decorated and underrated bottom 6 forwards ever because of that run, and it solidified him within that. Because throughout his career up until then, he had been into like New Jersey or Edmonton and whatnot. And in Edmonton, he thought that he was going to be a top line person playing with McDavid because they had nobody else there and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the career he's had is just phenomenal after that point. And there's the great chirp that he got from Drew Doughty and during
Mhm.
one of the Winter Classics while he was playing at Anaheim, where Doughty was just like making fun of him, saying, "Who are you? Nobody knows who you are. You've been in the minors for how long?" And now he has more Stanley Cups than Drew Doughty.
That's why they call him Drew Doughty.
Yeah, they doubt on him.
No, I think just back on the 2019 Blues run though, like I mean that I don't even think you had to be a Blues fan to really like realize how big of a moment that was just for the city in general. Because it was like, I mean, that summer, I mean, it was just like the with the Gloria thing, and then the one girl, what's her name? That was like their
Oh, Layla.
Layla, like
Layla.
that whole story. Yeah, like I mean, it's just like it's like a it was like a movie. It really was on just how everything played out. And I know, like I said, it made even though like it made a lot of Blues fans because it made me actually want to follow them more. Just that run in general. Just because of how remarkable it was. So you can call me a 2019 Blues bandwagon. That's fine. But I didn't go through those struggles early on. But still, though, it was
Well, now
that was
through him. You're
amazing for
going
this
through him
summer.
now. You get to see him now after the
Yeah, I
fact.
get to see them
You get to
now.
see me be stoic and handle it pretty well, and everyone else melt down around me.
Yeah, I didn't realize playoff hockey pain until probably that last playoff. Not
Against
this.
Winnipeg, yeah.
Yeah, that like in one like with 1 second remaining. That was awful. That's what that was probably up there as like some of the worst moments in sports, like St. Louis sports history. Probably up there like for me with the Travis Ishikawa in 2014 against the Giants. That was awful. But
Now we have our newest member.
yeah, Mason.
Oh, hello. How many episodes of this were there before I came back on here?
I think there was like 8.
Yeah.
There were like 8? Okay.
Yeah.
You guys couldn't have done one more, so it was like your 10 episode celebration to introduce me.
No.
Okay.
No, it started off really well, and then again we just kept seeing everything just decline, and it just became unbearable. It was unbearable to watch in 2023 because I was not prepared.
Too much different in 2026.
No, it's a lot more different, and we'll get into that.
Well, yeah, I'm the new guy, Mason. Pretty much a St. Louis sports guy in general. I'm first and foremost football. I was a Rams guy. I grew up on the Rams, but it sucks because I had too much ADHD to really appreciate the greatest show on turf, and when we actually won the Super Bowl. So whenever I was like going through teenage years and stuff like that, I was always exposed to football, but I had a bunch of stuff going on as young kids do, and it wasn't until I was like in high school I was like, I need to get back there. I need to get back, especially since the writing was on the wall for them to leave. So I got back into watching football full time. Rams were my team. Stan Kroenke happened, and it just ignited the fire even more. I'm kind of an NFL hater because of that. I love football, but I'm an NFL hater, even though I still watch it. And then luckily the XFL graced us with a fan first league in 2020. COVID ruined it. Came back, and now they combined with the USFL, and it's the UFL, and we have the Battlehawks. The Battlehawks are born from it. Battlehawks Die Hard. I'm on those Discords and everything. If anyone's on there, I'm Vivo Mas. Look out for me. I'm the one. Actually, no, wait. Is it Master Mason the Baiter? That might be my Discord name. Just look out for that name. But yeah, Battlehawk Die Hard. And for my favorite sports memory, I have a couple I want to talk about, but my favorite, of course, has to be 2019 Stanley Cup Blues. But the moment in particular was Game 7. And I hadn't watched too much Blues prior to that. I was getting on board with it through our mutual friend named Adam. He was wanting me to get into it, and a couple of years prior, I was seeing them get into the playoffs, but I wasn't really catching on. So then seeing them do such a push in 2019 really brought like the sports emotions out and had me fully on board with them. But I remember it so much because I was one of the few that saw it at Busch Stadium. I saw it in the Cardinals like dugout and watched Jordan Bennington just play like a legendary game. So not only did we win the Game 7, but I remember like, oh yeah, we're winning, whatever. Like I was like standing, like, how often do you get to watch people in a baseball stadium to see hockey? Like you never hear that. Some cities might do that, but it was like one of the first times St. Louis did it, and I just like because it rained and everyone was so ridiculous. We were putting us on the jumbotron, and we were ready to storm the field, and then they put like the most jacked dude in front of me. So, but that was a fantastic memory that I'll never forget. And then honorable mentions are going back to the Rams' final season. When their very final game, actually, it was a color rush game. When they used to do, both teams were wearing their like primary bright colored jersey. And the Rams hosted what they call the ketchup and mustard bowl, which was the Rams in very bright yellow monocolor like jerseys.
Kind of like what they have right now.
And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were wearing like full red. And it was just a crazy thing to see. Everyone kind of knew there was something in the air. We knew the Rams were gone. Everyone was kind of just bonding, and a lot of like crazy chants. And it was just a moment that I won't forget because, I mean, it changed my sports life forever after that. So, and it was a pretty game, and we won. So, I won't hog the spotlight too much, but those are two of my favorites.
No, I think with especially with the UFL coming in, I think just the culture of the football culture just being back in St. Louis is good too. Even if it's not the same scale, but just the fact that that there's tailgates going on and the dome's being used for something, I think that's overall a positive.
Well, they're trying. It's obviously not as big. It's kind of like watching a movie that has a huge production budget and it's like a spectacle. That's the NFL. But you can watch a cheaper movie that can give you a similar effect and stick with you as long as you go into it with the right heart. So, and we're getting that here in St. Louis, and hopefully the UFL continues to climb, and it can get just as rowdy and rambunctious as a 60,000 seat NFL stadium. That's the hope.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, especially just for St. Louis. And I think that's if there's any city to do that, I think it'd be us. So
definitely
the football culture. So
we're the golden child.
But yeah, that's pretty much all of us. So we can just get right into the main topics for today for each of us.
Yeah, so Brennan, what's happened in the last 3 years of Cardinals baseball?
It's been a lot of hearing about patience. That's all we heard from Mosaic was just be patient, and it was getting really tiresome. Obviously, if you lived under a rock the last few years, you wouldn't know this, but obviously Heim Bloom has officially taken over as president of baseball operations for the Cardinals this year. And, going into the year, we had very low expectations. But I think I would say around the fan base, it was it's still positive because, you're out of the regime of Mozeliak. You're out of that whole turmoil that it was going in with us trying to bring in, veteran leadership for Arenado and Goldschmidt, getting them off the roster, letting these young guys who we've heard so much about that never put it together actually get their full opportunity in the big leagues and just see what happens and then move from there.
Well, remember, it's
and
not
I
only
think
just Goldschmidt and Arenado.
it was Wilson,
Contreras,
Sonny Gray,
Tommy Edman at one point, right? And then
Tommy Edman was traded for Eric Fetty because Mozeliak was
Yeah.
dumb because he thought that a 2024 team could do something, and that was the year where we had Lance Lynn back and Kyle Gibson, and then we re-signed Matt Carpenter.
and Dylan Carlson left.
Oh, he was DFA'd too, I believe, or released. Yeah, it's been a lot of turnover these last few years. It's a completely different roster. You look at the roster from 2023 to now, it's not recognizable. I think the only players from that team that are still on the active roster, some of them are on the injured list, like Nootbaar. Nootbaar was a part of it. Gorman and Liberatore, and Palante. Palante is the other one.
Was Mason Wynn not on there?
Not he came in later in 2023. He made his debut in September of 2023, and then he made his full season debut in 2024. Walker debuted in 2023.
Didn't Victor Scott debut in 24?
24, yeah. He made his debut in 24 because he was good out of spring training, so he made the major league roster. I think he made the major league roster, if my memory is right, because Dylan Carlson and Jordan Walker collided, which I can't even imagine how that would feel like for Dylan Carlson running into a man like Jordan Walker in the outfield. But yeah, the whole roster is different, and this year has been surprising on a lot of different levels. I think the big one is obviously Jordan Walker being the superstar that we have wanted him to be for the last 3 years, essentially. And, I know we've talked about this obviously off stream and stuff and off recording, that you guys don't believe that what he's doing is sustainable. And I would love to prove you wrong on how
I don't believe
sustainable.
in it. I will be very adamant about it. I'm very adamant about it because I'm a person that is in the "what have you done for me now?" or "what have you done for me lately?" kind of camp and whatnot. And yeah, I can appreciate the points that he's putting up and the runs and everything he's doing. He's seeing the ball. His batting stance looks great whenever he is tracking, and defensively he's always been great. But the last 2 years, in my opinion, and it could just be because of the turmoil of the coaching staff or how he's been trained and brought up and whatnot, didn't do much for him. But we all knew this was in him. We knew that he could do this. That's why we put him on such a high pedestal when he was drafted and when he came up in his first year. But now that he's putting it together, can he consistently stay at this top tier of a level? And I just don't think
that's what I want to see. I want to see just one season.
I think you already have it now, though. I mean, we are in June, right? And he has let me pull this up here. I think he has 15 home runs right now. Let's see. Yeah, it's 15 home runs, 43 RBIs, and then the big one to me is 21 walks and only 62 strikeouts. His strikeout percentage earlier on was outrageous when he was those first few years. And he was not walking at all. He was whiffing at everything. And he would chase out of the zone constantly. If you watch a Jordan Walker at bat in 2024, when he was barely up that year, all he would do is just chase sliders low and away. That's all he would do. That's all he came up, it would be you come up, sometimes there's 3 pitch strikeouts most of the time. What he did this past year is he went to drive line, which if you don't know what drive line is, that is it's a organization that's outside of baseball. It's outside of like teams. It's where players go and they can work on their swings and change their swing paths to try to get the best outcome with what they with their swing. So he's always hit the ball hard. That was the thing. He's always been like top in baseball for hitting the ball hard. The problem is that he always hit it into the ground. So like in 2023, if you remember when he first came up, he started off really well. He had like a 15-game hitting streak, broke the hitting streak rookie record to start a career for the Cardinals. Like he passed Albert Pujols in that way. But all of those hits were on the ground. There was barely anything elevated. And with a player like Jordan Walker, he can't be a ground ball hitter because you drafted and developed him to be this power hitter and to be the superstar. And so that's why he went to Driveline, was to try to fix his swing. And then since then, I mean, you look at his Baseball Savant page, which is this page that goes through all this data that tells you that's like, yeah, you can look at the regular numbers like on base percentage, home runs, RBIs, average, and you could get an idea for who he is. But this shows sustainability because it's data that no matter what happens in the game, because baseball's random at times, this shows the consistency on his approach. So the hard hit is still high. His bat speed's still high. The chase speed's down, like it's still bad, and the K percentage is down, but he's hitting the ball harder than ever because his expected batting average now is every time he hits the ball, his average expected batting average is 276. So that would mean that, just again for you guys who don't know, when he hits the ball, his average by the time he hits the ball, if he hits the ball every time, his average should be around 276 on the year, which is above average player in today's game. And then also the other thing that's a big thing for him is his defense improvement, because his first 2 years were horrendous defensively. So now that he's started to really get comfortable in the outfield and have that confidence, and then also being able to put it all together at the plate, where he's already went over all of his home run totals, like this from 24 to 25. He already has more home runs this year than those 2 years combined, and it's already June.
Yeah, it just makes me wonder though if he is that much of a mental case at times, and that because he's in such a high, if this is our high highs and we're past the lows and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
it's just finding that middle ground to where we get to see what he can be average wise. Because I just think it's an overperformance this whole year and
Well,
whatnot.
the other thing you have to think about too with Jordan is that he just turned 24 years old.
Right, I don't disagree, but we also have a guy named JJ Weatherholt who's like, we clearly have a baseline.
JJ
of
Weatherholt
standards.
he went to college.
How did
In
Walker not?
college, no, he was drafted out of high school.
Oh.
So you have a different upbringing, and then JJ went to West Virginia, which is known as a really good college for developing players. Like Victor Scott and JJ went to college together. And now they're playing for the Cardinals. So they've like college bats, and I think that's, if you look at like recent drafts, a lot of teams are moving away from drafting high school players overall because of how good the college programs have got. Like you obviously have some phenoms like, like guys like Jackson Holliday and Ethan Holliday, who are sons of Matt Holliday.
Future Cardinals, yep.
Yeah, hopefully future Cardinals at some point. Maybe not Jackson Holliday. He's had a kind of a rough go overall, but like when they came out of high school, they were like they had the name pedigree, and they had the talent to show that they could be in professional baseball. But a lot of players now just go straight to college because they are more likely to get drafted higher if they perform well, and that when they're drafted higher, they obviously get more money for their bonus and stuff. So, and then organizations feel better about drafting these guys because then they could speed them up to the big leagues faster. Like, because JJ was drafted in 2024 and he's already up. If he was a high school player, he's probably going to be another year or two away, normally, for like a normal development plan for a player. And that's just to create an average player, not a superstar player.
Right. So what do you want to see now with the Cardinals as we're in this point of the season? Like, what do you think they need? How do you think they go about it coming up?
Tarps
So
off.
they've been struggling overall. I would say ever since the
Tarps
tarps
off.
off started. Yeah, is when I would say since that started against that Royal series. That after that Royal series happened, I think it's just been kind of a downward spiral because you had the Pirates series, which we lost 2 of 3 to the Pirates, which the Pirates are a good team still. Um, and then we went to Cincinnati, and Cincinnati we split 2 games because there was supposed to be a 3-game series, but then there was 2 rain delays, and then one of the games was a doubleheader, so it's hard to win a doubleheader sweep. And then you got swept by Milwaukee, which was brutal. That was probably the worst series of the year, performance-wise. And then they managed to come through against the Cubs, which was really good to see. Going against your rival like that to win that series overall, like Cubs are, even though the Cubs have been struggling just as much as we have, if not probably definitely worse, it's still good to see us go and win that series against that rival. But like the Cardinals have been off to this hot start, like we said, and a lot of it has to do with Jordan Walker's success and JJ Weatherholt coming up and being as good as he's been. I think we're gonna see in the next month, like for June, I have a feeling that it's not going to be much different than May, because I think April was kind of an outlier. And there's an article by Bertie Michaelis on St. Louis Sports Central. If you guys do not follow them, I highly recommend following them because they have great content overall for everything St. Louis sports. But he wrote an article about what happened in May to make this all to make their struggles start, but also still keep them in the race, sort of. So the big one is our pitching massively improved in the month of May. We had an overall ERA of 3.43, which was 9th best in baseball for our starting rotation. Our bullpen was 3.02 ERA, which was also 9th in baseball. And then the K percentage was also a massive improvement, because you've seen last month you saw several pitchers top their career high in strikeouts. Yeah, Dustin May do it with 11 strikeouts against the Brewers. And then you had Matthew Liberatore, who hasn't had the full results and wins, but has struck out 9+ in 2 games in the month of May. So that's been a really encouraging sign for the rotation side. But the offense has been awful. If Jordan Walker and JJ Weatherholt are not going like you need them to go, and Alec Burleson and Ivan Herrera are not supporting them as the supporting cast, there's no one else in this lineup that's going to help you. Nolan Gorman has been a fucking disaster this year, and I put out a tweet about it. Nolan Gorman has been one of probably, honestly, to me, the most disappointing player of the year. I know some people put Victor Scott in that, and some people put Mason Wynn in that. But I mean, when Nolan Gorman's supposed to be this power hitter, the strikeouts are going to happen, but he should be able to walk as well. If you have an on base percentage of 292, and you're supposed to be this power 2 outcome player, which either is a hit or a walk, or a home run or a walk, then you're not doing your job. And Victor Scott has just been he has a noodle bat. He doesn't hit anything.
He's using a pool noodle out there.
The only time he gets on base, I think the reason why I would love this, I can't see what it is, but he has 15 hits on the year. I guarantee you 7 of them are bunts. Which
every time I see him go to bat, he's bunting.
Yeah, he's a fun player. I love the personality of Victor Scott, and I think I don't think his defense has been as good this year, but I know it's there, and I like the speed element that he adds. But it seems to me that he might not be any more than just a 4th outfielder who can come in and pinch run at times, with the way he's been playing this year, which is valuable. you can have him on your roster, but he's not going to have like he shouldn't be your starting center fielder. Now to go back to your question on what the future looks like, we have Newpark coming back probably Friday. Derek Gould from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch put out today that if he clears both tests from today and tomorrow, he will be in the lineup on Friday against the who do we play next? I think it's the Reds at home. Yeah, it's the Reds. So he'll be in the lineup there, which will be a massive boost to your lineup. And then Nathan Church, who had a really good start to the year, starts his rehab assignment on Thursday as well. So the offenses can come back. I guess we'll just have to see how it looks at the end of the month with those guys back on where we stand, and then we can have another conversation on if they should be buying or selling at the deadline.
I think no matter what, you're buying pitching, though. You can't have this rotation continue on this way.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to pick up some arms. I think they're going to have to pick up at least, I think they're going to, right now where they stand, I think they will probably buy and sell. Because you can't give up on a team like this that's overperformed this way. You kind of want to keep the morale high.
It goes into the philosophy of does the team earn a bye? I think it's one of the things that Doug Armstrong always did too with every year in the Blues as well, is you got to make me want to believe that I should use the resources to buy for you guys to go for this run and whatnot. So,
and Heim's already said that he's not changing away from the future. He wants World Series, right? He wants World Series contention, no matter what. That's what he's going to do. And if he's said too that we need to sacrifice the short-term pain for the long-term to ensure that we can have that. But if you see how this team has performed, at what level do they have to perform to where you're okay, this is the core that I have? Because I think they've identified several pieces of their core moving forward with JJ, Avon, Walker, and potentially Burleson.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see for sure. I think even if they do fall off a cliff, I think we'll see a lot of fun baseball still with a lot of the young guys coming up. So because there's a lot of young pitching that's still not even here that we have to – will be another conversation. I won't spend too much time on that, but it's the young pitching that the Cardinals have right now is something to be really excited for in the next 2 years.
Right. Well, we'll transition over to you, Mason, because it's a big weekend coming up. Sunday.
Yeah. Battlehawks were supposed to go to the playoffs. They are going to the playoffs, but they're kind of – some would say they're limping into the playoffs. I don't know. I don't know if I want to say that just yet because this team – so we finished second in the league. The Storm were above us. They went 8-2. They're probably the most complete unit. I don't think they look unstoppable, but they're most complete unit.
And they have former head coach Anthony.
They have Anthony Becht, our old coach.
He's gonna have a revenge game, I feel like.
Well, yeah. Well, the crazy thing about his matchup going into the playoffs is that they're about to face the Defenders 3 weeks in a row. So they did 2 back-to-back at the end of the season, and then they're going to do it again in the playoffs. The last time Beck did that, he lost his third game against the San Antonio Brahmas. I think it was last season.
I think it was 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
I think so, because I went to that game.
Oh, no, yeah, because the Defenders and the Panthers went this last season. So 2 years ago, it was the Brahmas and the Stallions in the championship. You're right. But he won those 2 and then gets to the third game and then can't get it done. But that's 2 seasons in a row now we choked in the playoffs. And so this year the goal is to not do it again. We're going to find out, and maybe it's both. We're going to find out if it's Coach Becht with the Storm, if they lose in their first round, or if it's a Battlehawks thing. Maybe it's a Dome thing. Maybe it's Kroenke's stench staying in that dome and won't leave us alone. He wants the last laugh, but Yeah, we're going in. We're going as a 2 seed. We're going against the Louisville Kings, and they are the hottest team going into the playoffs too. So we have the toughest matchup going in. The last time we played them in Louisville, Derby weekend, and it was like 3-16, 3-14 or something, a Harrison Frost game. But the defense what they've been doing all year just stood on their head. I've never seen a bad game from this defense all season. But on the flip side, I don't know if I've ever really seen a game this season that was a good offensive performance.
Right.
And then the ones that we do, it's not the full 4 quarters, which is a problem that many major football leagues, football teams have, NFL and UFL, is you got to play the full 4 quarters. We had the one where we were beaten up on the Storm in the first half and scored like 3 touchdowns on them, and then the second half let them just come back. But that was mostly because of a lot of errors right in the beginning of the third quarter, why the Storm came back. And then the other game that we had an offensive powerhouse was when we looked like trash the whole time against the Stallions in the Dome. And it wasn't until the very end of the game that we put together, I think, 2 or 3 touchdowns in a row to win the game. So this team just has not done an offensive performance. And so the doubters are out full force. The Kings fans specifically think they're already there. They're excited to go against the Storm. No one's talking about this matchup with the Battlehawks. Like, everyone's counted us out, and this team's never fully out. There hasn't been one game they went into this season that they didn't stand a chance.
Right.
And now, I have a question real quick. So, do you think, because it's a new head coach this year, and I almost wonder if the Battlehawks have the advantage, because if you look back at those previous 2 years that I'm just thinking about since the UFL's taken over with the more teams, do you think that, because a lot of pressure was on them those last 2 years, because I feel like they were the favorite going in those last 2 playoff runs. Now that they're not considered the favorite, would you say that they have a better chance now just because they don't have that pressure on them?
Who this?
The Battlehawks.
The Battlehawks? Oh, the Battlehawks.
Yeah.
That you're talking about Becht. Because I was like, for Becht, the pressure might be on him even more.
Right, because he has that.
Totally built this team. Yeah, you get to draft him, and he had the wind underneath his wings. For the Battlehawks, I think our biggest strength going into this is obviously our defense. But like things that you don't see off the gate is that what I was kind of touching on is that everyone's counting them out already. And it's kind of they're the number 2 team. And the last time we played the Kings, they only scored 3 points. I know they're chugging right now, but if you look at the chemistry games of all the teams that the Battlehawks have played twice, all the games kind of went the same. The points swung a little different on the pendulum. So like the Gamblers game, the first one we lost by a little bit. We got down to the end zone and couldn't complete the drive, and the game ended. And then the second one, we won at the very end with like a comeback drive, and then the defense was able to hold them out. Same with the defenders. We barely beat them through our defense in week 1, and it's a week 1, so that's kind of the preseason. But then you fast forward to, was it week 5, week 4? They go to DC, and there's a little bit of offense on both sides, but they're both still playing each other the same, and it's just still like the same vibe in that game. Like they're both having to get dirty. And I think the same thing is going to happen with the Kings. They think they're going to come in and score 30 on us. I do think they get around 20, but it's going to, if anything, we're going to play them close. But I think since there's so much doubt in the air, the Battlehawks are going to go in there not worried. They might have home field advantage, but they're not going to be worried because no one's expecting them to go because they're so impressed with the Kings right now. So I think Ricky Prohl, he is that's a championship player. Like he was on Greatest Show on Turf. He's got a winner's mentality. He cares for this team. His son's the wide receiver coach. Like he's got so much love into this team, and no one doubts each other. And they're going in there somehow underdogs in their own stadium. I think, and they just played an embarrassing Week 10 game with 5 turnovers and what should have been the farewell song. They're going to go in there mad, and I don't think the Kings are ready for it. And the Kings are on like a 6-game win streak or 5-game win streak, and they're about to get smacked in the mouth. I can feel it.
Yeah,
and if I'm wrong,
I was gonna say Louisville had won the last 4, but I think what like mainly concerns me about them is just that they have such a good road record. They are 4-1, and they just know how to play outside of their stadium for whatever reason.
Well, that's what's kind of interesting about this matchup is that this Battlehawks these last 3 weeks, this is not the Battlehawks football that we're used to. The Battlehawks home record, I don't know off the top of my head, but they typically win in the Dome.
Yeah, they had a 3-2 record.
They have a 3-2.
Yeah,
like currently.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. At home they were 3-2, and on the road they were 3-2.
Oh, you mean this year?
Yeah, this year. Sorry.
Okay. Well, with like years past, we typically win at home too. Like it really is a dome field advantage, and I just think there's so many things that can't be the culture. This is the game to like put it all on the line. I think these players are going to go in there with a chip on their shoulder. There was many plays that were called back. The penalties on this team. This team's getting penalized way so much that they're in the trenches. And I think they played Friday. They've got Saturday, Sunday, 9 days to rest. This team's going to come out and we're going to see them in DC. I got a feeling we're going to see this team in DC. All you got to do is have that offense play a little, just competent offense, low penalties, and 2.5 touchdowns. This team can win. Just by that, with the defense alone, as long as the offense can stay on the field and put up 2 to 3 touchdowns, that's all you need. The Kings aren't going to get 4 touchdowns against this defense.
Yeah, I just think they need to get to the end zone too, because like the last couple games I've been to, it seems like they struggle to get into their territory. It feels like offensively.
Yeah, I remember talking to Mason about that too. Whenever
because it just seems like they're constantly punting. It feels like
they're
not getting good drives.
Yeah, it was pure, or like they're just opting for the field goal, which Ricky did say that he was willing to take the points at any cost and didn't want to risk like losing.
Yeah, Ricky said that in the very beginning of the season that he would always take the points.
But now I kind of look at that as smoke and mirrors of like, it's because I don't know how to get us out get a red zone completion.
Yeah, they don't like. I don't have like their numbers pulled up for it, but I feel like this is probably one of the weakest offensive performances by the Battlehawks.
Yeah, no, this season has to be, which is crazy because if you would have told me going into the season we had Brandon Silvers and Harrison Frost, I'd be like, oh, as long as we kept most of our core, we should be good. Because last year we had Max Duggan and Manny Wilkins. People know who Max Duggan is, but who the hell knows who Manny Wilkins is?
I do.
I'll never forget that game he came in. He came in injured. Well, who was it? Manny Wilkins that got injured, or did he replace who was injured? Because I remember it was bad.
Are you talking about that game that Sean's thinking of right now?
I think it is.
Well, no, I was gonna say I know who Manny Wilkins is because that was on the rally towel that they gave away at the home opener last year.
Oh, yeah. So you only found out who he was through a towel.
Yeah, and then the 2 games that he played, and then his ankle exploded.
Yeah,
that was right. Yeah, it was him that got hurt. I was like, so I remember like who is his quarterback? And then I think he was all right for not being a nobody, and then he just blew his ankle out. And I was like, damn, that just sucks.
Well, he was a gangster on the ground.
Yeah,
he was great on the ground. He just every time he threw it in the air, I was like,
he had a horrible football IQ.
Yeah. And he got the locker room fired up. He just couldn't throw the ball, which is kind of what the quarterback position is all about. If you're not going to throw the ball, you need to play for the Saints and be like a Taysom Hill, run the ball every time.
Right.
But no, the Battlehawks. I don't know if I think Sean knows this. I made friends with Luis Perez's cousin, at the football game.
He said
It
something
was-
that last weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, he was giving the inside scoop about how Harrison Frost, according to Luis, was like physically and like visibly relieved to not be the starter anymore, which shows like lack of confidence. And that like the Renegades locker room was a shit show, and that he said his own cousin was like, Luis is in a slump. He wasn't going to pander around it. He's like, Luis is in a slump. He said, come next week when it's the playoffs. He knows how to turn it on. And I do believe that. I've seen this guy go into the playoffs and take a 4-6 team and win a championship.
Right.
Yeah, through the air too. So I think he's got to be, unless age really is catching up to him, he's got to be so humbled after that last performance, because it was one of his worst I've ever seen. And because it was the opposite of what I thought was going to happen. I thought, oh, Luis is going to come to now. It's his third game. And he laid down.
Yeah, he was like, I'm done.
And he got fucked. So,
Yeah, I think I've noticed too, like we started the tarps off at the Battlehawks that one like 2 games
it happened
ago.
again.
I know it happened again,
happened again.
and then they've lost both times, and the Cardinals started struggling with the tarps off. So I think it's time we stop with just tarps off.
We can't control tarps off.
No,
I can't
speaking of-
control topless men.
To kind of stay in tarps off, I kind of go back to the Cardinals for a second. Did you guys see what that player did with Pete Armstrong?
Oh, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah,
that was
did
he do it on
embarrassing.
purpose?
No.
No,
because
it looked like
he was trying to throw the
it
ball
to the
back
field,
on the
right?
field. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So-
like it got spun that he was just throwing it at a Cubs fan,
So
and I think he was just a dumbass and just chucked it and it hit that Cubs fan.
Yeah, so if you have not seen this, it was against the Cubs on Saturday. We were getting our ass beat, let's put it lightly. And then Pete Armstrong comes up, and then the tarps off section starts chanting overrated when he comes up. And then he hits a tank of a home, probably one of the longest home runs I've seen by a lefty, because it's very rare that you see a home run at Busch go into that bleacher section where the tarps off are. He literally hit it into the tarps off section as they were chanting overrated. Like that's pretty.
That moment's
I hate
in the
Cubs.
archives of Cubs history forever. They're pulling that out every time they want to smack the Cardinals in the mouth.
Yeah, it changed. I mean, it's gonna be remembered for like the Cardinals and Cubs rivalry for sure. But the one thing about it too is like when they have the home run and then the fan catches it, the thing at Wrigley is when an opposing team hits a home run is to throw it back on the field. But Wrigley, if you've been to Wrigley or you've seen it, it's not as far back, because I mean he hit that ball 444 feet, so it's like really far back, and then he's like stumbling with the ball, and the video is so funny because he's stumbling with the ball, and then like you can just see everyone just yelling throw it, and then you see like these ushers in the background like screaming like no, don't throw it, and then
I haven't looked at that hard.
it looked like he threw it, and then he threw it, but he didn't throw it with his right hand. He threw it with his left hand. He did not.
Yeah, he kind of like lobbed it.
Yeah,
it kind of like he wasn't comfortable throwing it.
Yeah, so I think he's a righty who threw it as a lefty, and
but like
that's
did you see-
embarrassing.
How'd you see it? I saw it through John Boy, and
I saw it live when I was watching the game.
Oh, well,
Because it barely showed it, and I thought I saw it because I saw them like trying to throw it back, and I saw him throw it, but I didn't see the ball end up on the field. So like, where did the ball go? And then I saw on John Boy that he ended up hitting a Cubs fan of all people.
Yeah,
the Cubs fan
they
got a
ran
funny
with
ball
that,
out of
though.
it.
They said that he targeted the Cubs fan. Everyone's like,
I
terrible
don't
Cardinals fans.
know.
I'm like, the more I watched it, I'm like, it looked like it was just a bad throw, because that Cubs fan was in the
Right.
front row. Like
Yeah,
if he was trying to hit that Cubs fan with the way he threw it, that was a really good throw. But instead, I think it was a really bad throw. Like that's what it looks like.
No, I think that overall though, I actually am surprised that they're continuing with that, because the Cardinals are an organization that they're not an organization that's rowdy. Like our fans have never been perceived as rowdy, like even like in history. And it
Well, we've
surprised
always
me
been
how
seen as
they
classy. Yeah.
it just surprised me how they kept that. But I'm done with that tangent for it. We can go back to the Battlehawks. But I just thought that was funny on how he just threw the ball at the Cubs fan. Honestly, for that guy,
So
I hope you're watching this. If you're watching this, you just need to leave the city. Honestly, that was embarrassing.
Yeah, you
Lift
need
up a
to-
dumbbell.
Yeah, lift up
Yeah,
some
you need to-
dumbbells, practice your throwing. You know,
go hang out with Joshua
Yeah.
Block. He was also a fad in
he'll
St.
show you
Louis.
how to throw punches and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't been in St. Louis in a minute.
Yeah, his moment's
But-
up. Go join him. But so
anything
you're
else on
saying
Battlehawks?
that Battlehawks should retire Tarps off.
I mean, I'm fine with it, but it's like if we lose this game, I think, like especially if the Cardinals keep going down, it looks like they're winning right now with the Tarps
That'd be
off,
funny if in the Tarps off section they took those shirt cannons and were just like launching the shit out of them at him. Like, hit him with it. That's what they should do. Put it back
It's
on!
like
Come on!
we're losing the game. Put your fucking clothes back
Get
on.
the
Just
shirt
start
on,
shooting,
bitch!
yeah.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Some little ladies like waving like incense, like praying. In
Is
that
he
section.
Is Sean frozen?
Yeah, I'm frozen.
Yeah,
right
Sean's like having a stroke or something.
It's like
now. Hang on. 1
I
second.
kind of like the framing though.
Oh.
No,
I would try leaving, coming back. You can come back in, and we'll be fine.
Okay.
well,
But,
I like it. I would like it if Sean just stayed like that and he goes into the blues section. He didn't want to.
But no, one thing I'll say on the Battlehawks too is, and one last question: do you think if they were to lose on Sunday, do you think that do you worry about the future of the UFL if they lose again? Because I know, we talked about this before too. It's just St. Louis is the biggest market, for support wise, that the UFL has. With them not being in the championship, do you think that helps the UFL overall, or do you think it just kind of hurts it more since we're like the main core of it?
Well, TV ratings locally it'll help, obviously. And there's like 500 Battlehawks diehards. They have a Road Warriors Facebook page. Whenever we post this, Brandon, remind me. I'll try to drop it so people can join it if they want to. But they travel well together. But it's only like 500 in a stadium of like 15,000. It's just a drop in the bucket. But TV numbers, I think Alabama does well with TV numbers. Like there's several cities that actually watch this. Like even if they don't have a team or whatever. I know that's how Oklahoma City's getting a team is because they looked at the TV numbers because they really enjoy watching the UFL and its product. But at the Battlehawks miss the championship, I don't know how much it's going to affect TV numbers. My biggest worry about them missing the championship again is this. So there's the diehards, but this team is still earning its fan base.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that was my question. Was just obviously they have the support by the city just because of you have a lot of fans who are diehards, like you, right? And then you have your friends like us who go to the games, but then you have then you have people who just go out of spite, but then you have the other fans who are they just want to go and maybe their kid likes football. And there's nowhere to go take them in football. And then it's it's not school. It's nice. It's summer out. We could take them to the city. We could do a double header thing where it's we go to a Cardinal game and a Battlehawks game, just things like that. That fan base is what I'm worried about, mainly because they're casual. They don't follow anything. So when they hear that they're in the playoffs every year and then they keep failing, it's why keep supporting the team, especially since they don't the UFL is never going to be at the level of the NFL. In regards to rebuilding franchises, they're not going to have the player names. It's a completely different system, which is fine, but it's just hard to keep those casuals in.
Yeah, people watching the UFL are either fans of a certain player that's back in there, or they have to actually be a fan of the league.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that watch the NFL for the players or for the teams or for the culture and all that. And the UFL is very far off from building a deep enough culture where people are going to tune in, or casuals will tune in just to be a part of it and
It
be a
takes
part of it.
decades.
It's too small.
It takes decades to build that.
Yeah, it takes way too long. And that's so with the casuals right now, the problem is I'm a little worried that another playoff loss is going to hurt attendance next year. The more if we lose 3 playoffs in a row, people are going to be like, it's going to start the saying that, oh, we can't win. Like why would I go there and waste my money? You know, the Cubs are in town, they're playing the Cardinals. It's a regular season game. I'll go see that. Or like if the Blues are in the playoffs or something, like you're
Especially
always
if they're
going
in
to
the
choose
playoffs.
those over a Battlehawks playoff game because they just keep losing. It's going to tie a stigma. We have to win this game because it will. Attendance is down this year. I think it's more of an economy thing. Like a lot of people aren't doing stuff, but if all of that goes back to normal, attendance will be down due to lack of excitement or interest. The Battlehawks are coming off of their, like you said earlier, Brennan, they're coming off the Stan Kroenke haters. There's not many people watching in Spite anymore, and we're coming down from like the cacaos and the craziness and the crazy outfits and the fans and all that.
You know, that's a great
People are
thing to
getting
be
used
brought
to
up with
it.
that.
So
I can't
Do
remember
what?
the bringing up like a cause and whatnot because you
I
get
think
them
the
every
cause,
once in a while now, but like I remember that
I think it's
first
kind of
season too. It
dying.
was crazy. Yeah,
I think
That first
it's
playoff game I went to, the energy was electric, and
yeah,
I don't expect it this year. It's a
yeah. I don't.
shame. I just don't expect it. I
I,
will say the marketing's been better. I've seen YouTube ads regarding this game, pretty regularly actually. I've seen billboards around city too that have been talking about filling the dome for Sunday's game. So I'm hoping
wait,
there's a
you've
big
seen billboards
turnout.
outside the city
Mm-hmm.
for the
Yeah,
playoff game? Or
And O'Fallon, yeah. There's like those virtual billboards. I've seen them say like the fill the dome or
okay,
whatever. So they're
yeah,
they're getting their name across. It's just like we've been talking about. I I don't know if we'll ever get to that level because it's kind of worn off that effect. If we would have won that like first year or even the second year, I think you would have kept fans more interested since we can
yeah,
have the potential of winning. But now it's like, like it's not going to happen. It could likely not
right.
happen, especially with the way they've ended their season. If you've been following along to it, which I don't think any of the fans who would go to that game who we're talking about would be following what their season was like. But it's important for the city. It's important not even just for the Battlehawks and their future, but just economically for St. Louis. Like those businesses on Washington, the different things that the after things where people go to like Ballpark Village or go to different bars in Soulard or wherever for after the game stuff. So
well, and St. Louis too. Like, we can all three relate to this. Like, it's a lot of competition, but the days that the Blues, Battlehawks, and Cardinals are in town around the same time, everyone in the city's like, "Holy crap! This feels like a city."
Dude,
Like people are down,
yeah,
and everyone's
with
like
Sean,
high on
with Sean, I
life.
did that. With Sean, I did the 3-game. We did a triple header where we went to a Battlehawks game, a Cardinal game, which was like the second game of the year against the Rays, and then we saw the Blues play. Absolutely one of the best sports days I've ever had. Being able to walk to all these different stadiums and everything, and it was awesome. And yeah, it's just when all those teams are going, especially like City's going too, which we don't talk about City too much on here because I don't.
as
But
someone who's been to a city game, oh my gosh, I understand it now. I really do.
the culture's
So
great.
the
Oh
the
yeah, it's
culture's
fun.
great. That stadium's fantastic. It was the first time ever I'd actually been in there, and I actually got to see the energy and get to see a goal and everything like that. And like, it's one of those things that I finally understood what like the hype around it and everything, like the culture. And I understand why it's also like kind of overpriced too, because I was very fortunate. We had a friend that took me there for free, and it's just top of the line entertainment all around. Like that.
It's like college. It's like college level like fandom.
Oh yeah,
maybe
like
even
in
more.
that one stadium, like that one side of the section where they have all the drums and
Like the
The
fan
supporter
support.
section,
Yeah.
yeah, that is awesome to me to see and everything like that. And you could feel the intensity with every shot, which I was like, somebody who's like only ever watched hockey and not watched a lot of MLS stuff, you couldn't really understand how tense you could get with shots on goal. And I was like, this is
yeah.
insane.
I've noticed that because I try to watch the games. It's another sport where if you're not completely into it, watching it in person's way more exciting. Because
Right.
I'll try to watch the Apple TV broadcast, and I'll watch a shot on goal or near the goal, and I'll be like, oh, they missed. But when you're in person, you're like, you think it's gonna go in. You like start standing up, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh no. It's the same thing. Like, I guess I could say that same thing. For going to a Blues game too. They're wrapping around the net and stuff, and it's like on TV, it's just like, oh, there's another shot on goal. But when you're there, you're all hyped up, and it's
Yeah.
energetic. And
I think too.
City is one of those.
I'm curious to see, like the Cardinals added that tarps off, which is kind of like the supporter section for the city, like for baseball wise. I
Right.
wonder, and like the battlehawks kind of always had their own thing. The city has their own thing. I wonder if the Blues do anything at all.
No. To put it plainly,
Tarps off
no.
in the Enterprise.
I would do tarps off at Enterprise. I wouldn't
That'd be
care.
cold.
Yeah, it'd
Yeah,
be-
it's really dark in there too. You wouldn't see it that much.
Well, that's the good thing and the bad. The good thing, and the bad with
the good
stadium.
thing.
Yeah, with the stadium though and Enterprise is that upper bowl is so secluded off from the rest of the energy, in my opinion, because
It's
it's
its
like
own energy. It feels
yeah,
like.
it's a separate feel. Like I've taken you to that kind of thing, Brennan, where we've been up to seats way up top and then down in the mezzanine area and
Mhm.
whatnot, and you get to see the speed from down there. But you also get to see like how different of a hockey culture and the people watching are doing with that and whatnot compared to the ones up top. Because if I'm up in the top of the rafters, I'm screaming, "Shoot, shoot it!" and they can't hear me
Yeah.
at all.
No, they hear you.
But oh, okay, good. But I don't know if the Blues would ever, or like if the Enterprise would allow something like that. I mean, again, it's in the power
I
of the
think
fans
Bush
to
would.
start those things.
I did not
Yeah.
think Bush would. I did not. It's cool to see. I will even though I'm not like, it's not been giving us the results that we want so far. But I think just the culture and like the fandom around the city is at the highest it's ever been for all teams. I feel like, which
Right.
can lead into the Blues a little bit because I know we don't have too much to talk about Blues just because they're in off season.
Yeah, we're in
Off-season.
off season. It's currently the Stanley Cup Finals right now, and the Golden Knights are winning 4-3, which I'm not happy about, with former Blue Ivan Barbashev on their team. But no, the talk of the town for the Blues right now is what's gonna happen at the draft. It is very, very fascinating to me how this could play out because the Blues have 3 first round picks in 11th, 15th, and 29th overall.
Wasn't 15th our lottery? Or is
Yeah,
that 11th?
no, both are technically lottery. So 15th is the one that they got from the Justin Falk trade that sent him to Detroit, and that
Oh,
had a chance to be like the fifth of yeah, it had a chance to be like the 5th overall, but again, it's very slim margins and whatnot. And then the other one is from the New York Islanders from sending Captain Braden Shen over there and to get Colorado's pick. But the talk of the, like I said, the biggest rumors with it is there's a lot of movement of what could happen. Since San Jose,
Yeah, the
they
Sharks.
won their draft lottery to get second overall, but they have enough forward group and people to all around to build with and whatnot. But it's what's it going to cost to get into the top 5 of the NHL draft? San Jose could use a defenseman because they don't have any defensemen signed up. I see a situation if I were to look at my
Parayko.
exactly in my
Yep.
crystal ball of how things could work out. Is there's a deal to be done that could send Parayko to San Jose to get second overall, which would be crazy. Getting into the
Here's a
top 5 in general would be insane.
Well, Parayko's a no trade clause, right? Because I know Doug loved to give those out.
Yes, he has a no trade clause and he was able to exercise it this past year because there, Doug Armstrong was going to trade him to Buffalo. That was the thing. They were going to give him out to Buffalo for their first round pick and their defensive, the defenseman that they picked up last year in the draft at like seventh overall. So it was going to be a top blue chip prospect that was going to be coming back as well. But as the player's rights, he decided not to do that. The other option, though, that I do see, and again, this is just me glaring in my crystal ball and using foresight with it all, is I see a world that we could get at least fifth overall from the New York Rangers. The Rangers have very low speed, and they don't have uh, a real core around them to build in their top six of forward group. And I could see
Is
where,
this where Cairo comes in?
or you could send Buchnevich back.
I wouldn't.
Buchnevich was drafted by New York, and the only reason why he came back or he came over was because New York couldn't pay him. Well, New York's got all the cap space now. They got a fifth overall pick, and they feel like they know what to do to get the team on the right track. You're telling me I couldn't package the 15th Buchnevich and maybe some more to get fifth overall to then draft, let's say, Otto Stenberg's brother in Ivor Stenberg or Stenberg and
Is
whatnot?
that really
Because
worth it though?
Ivor Stenberg is considered to go around the top five, and he is NHL ready, which is what makes it so attractive for me at least. Because Otto, his brother, seemed ready as well. He looked
Mhm.
great playing for them, and we're now going into the post Doug Armstrong era because that we've been in since about like 2010, 2013 with Alex Steen taking over now.
Mhm.
And he loves Swedish players. So that's why I'm like, I there's moves to be made. I just don't know where it is. Like a new rumor that just came out was Mason McTavish in Anaheim, and the Blues were interested in him and asking around as well. But it's important for the Blues to want to buy into this team. You've locked up four out of your top six already in Thomas, Kyrou, Holloway, Buchnevich. That's your
I forget we
like
we signed Holloway this
yeah,
offseason
Holloway's been
already.
re-signed. Broberg's already been re-signed as well. Parayko's back. Cam Fowler is going to be around for another 3 years, which is absolutely insanity to me to think about because he'll be about like 38 when his contract's over, I think. And you also got what's Logan Mayu going to be next year? He had a great finish to the end of the year, and can he continued his progress to show that he was worth trading Zach Bolduc for, which I still believe he was. I think it was a perfect one-for-one deal on what was needed.
Didn't look
But
good at the start.
oh yeah, it looked horrible. But then as Bolduc stopped scoring, Mayu started defending more and more, and there's just so much optimism going around too. The other thing that we also have to consider is it finally time to trade Jordan Binnington? You can get a king's ransom from Canada out of there if you trade him to Toronto or Edmonton. Because in Edmonton, they don't have a goalie, and they're getting frustrated with wasting these years of McDavid and Draisaitl. And in Toronto, who doesn't want to play for their hometown team? He's
Yeah,
from Ontario. He could totally
Toronto
do
has the
that.
name recognition too, and just Toronto will support anything that they do until it like they had a horrible year last year,
Yeah, and
but
it got him the first overall pick, which is crazy to think
yeah,
about
that's
with it.
wild.
I do think
Like,
Bennington would go to Canada.
yeah,
He would
he
love to
is
go to the
Canada's
Canadian team.
goalie. He's what did it for them
Yeah.
at the Four Nations. He's what did it for them at the Olympics, which another scenario that I also see again with Canada is Ottawa. If you finally want to bring Brady Kachuk home, you cannot tell me that you dangle Kyrou, Bennington, and one of the first round picks, maybe even two of them, to just bring in Brady Kachuk and Linus Olmark.
That would be pretty awesome. And the thing is,
And
like,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off
no,
with
you're
this,
good.
but another thing with it is Linus Olmark has the exact same stats or like same base level stats as Bennington and was a part of that Boston Bruins team that broke the NHL record for most wins in the regular season under Jim Montgomery. So it's all familiarity that could make sense.
Yeah, the other thing with like trading Bennington that I feel like would be worth it is I feel like you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the backup goaltenders that we've had with him have always I felt like the Blues can find good goaltending pretty easily. Like at least solid.
Yeah, and it's a new trend that Blues revisionists and historians will remember. We're not used to seeing. Before
Yeah.
we had Bennington, the last player that we had drafted and brought up was Jake Allen.
Jake Allen, yeah.
Before Jake Allen, we had to bring in Brian Elliott and Yaroslav Halak. Before Brian Elliott and Yaroslav Halak, we went through we can develop our own goalies in like Ty Conklin and bringing in, I think it was Steve Mason and whatnot. And then before that, you were still buying in goalies to come in here with Grant Fuhr, uh, Curtis Joseph, and Roman Turek and whatnot. You Goaltending is such a weird thing in part of St. Louis history that people don't really understand. Like why at the end of his career, I'm a firm believer that Bennington will have his jersey retired.
Oh yeah, just for the 2019 run alone is enough.
Yeah,
he's a Blues Hall of Famer without a doubt. Without a doubt.
If we got rid of him, though, would you be okay with Hofer taking over? Do you think you get another number one goalie?
I think Hofer has that thing that Bennington had in 2019.
The chip?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the chip in his shoulder, but he has that ice in his veins level of play style that you're never going to get underneath this. He's going to be that just death stare of I'm going to win the game whether you like it or not. And his performance throughout the year was great. I mean, I don't know if his stats
for a backup, he's really solid.
Like, yeah, and he's just developing. That's the great thing about it is that he's a developing goaltender.
So do you think he's ready to step up to the crease?
I would say so. Yeah, I would definitely say so. To where if Bennington doesn't get traded at the draft or they decide to let his contract ride out, he's definitely going to be the 1B to Hofer's 1A.
And I think with Tkachuk too, if you were to do that trade, you have I feel like you would still have enough cap space if needed to go if that's like an absolute need, like if Hofer falls off completely. So you can work around it. But I think Hofer would obviously be your number one. I think you can ride with that to start the year. But I think I would, if it was me, if I was Steen's not taken over yet, has he? Or has he?
I think he takes over at the draft.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would definitely try to go for those two picks. The number 2 pick for San Jose. That's what I would do. Because I think losing Parayko and like a couple of those later draft picks is a little bit more easier. And I don't know if the organization is ready to drop Bennington yet. Like I know hasn't been his 2019 self, but just the name and his legacy alone, I feel like they would want him to be a Blue for life. Unless it goes really bad.
He's Canada's goalie. That's the thing. That's the appeal with it.
I get it. They can get a haul, but I think if you could get the Tkachuk haul, I would do it. But other than that, if that's not an option, I think you really try to pressure San Jose into doing that.
I think Bennington would be a great trade for a team that floats around the playoffs all the time, because to me, he's a playoff monster. Oh, yeah. He goes to playoffs, and that's when it's on. Like I don't think I've ever like we've lost series and stuff, and he's had bad games, but like I've never like seen a stretch from Bennington in the playoffs that he was terrible in my eyes. I thought he was always good. We lost that series to Colorado a couple of years back, but that's because of a jerk ass Kadri. Stupid ass name, one of my least favorite players in all of sports history.
Give me 1 second.
But if there's a team that hovers around the playoffs and just needs that extra push, he is the guy.
Right, and that's what I believe. I truly believe that the teams that were in the playoffs this past year that didn't have goaltending was probably, I would even go as far as saying like Pittsburgh. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Edmonton, of course, and Ottawa. And now Ottawa's case is a lot more different because Linus Ullmark is a good goalie. He's just got a horrible defensive core in front of him, in my opinion, and the way that they're coached, I just don't agree with. It just doesn't work in their play style. But I do have faith in like Jake Sanderson, Thomas Chabot as their top two defensemen. They just need to build it out more for him and whatnot. That's why they're paying him a good amount of money. But there's just so much opportunity that you cannot pass it up, though. That's my whole thing with it. And
With the
I
Binnington
hope they
trade?
make those moves. With a Binnington trade, with a Pareko trade, and a Kyrou trade or whatever. Kyrou's been replaced by Jimmy Snuggerud already within like one season, and it's crazy to think about because they have this young nucleus that they want to build out with Otto Stenberg, Snuggerud, Dvorsky, and then you have on the back end Logan Mayu, um, Theo Lindstein, which is a great addition to come into this now. Other young players that we're talking about is Jake Neighbors and Dylan Holloway are what Thomas and Kyrou were in 2019. And Thomas is taking that leadership role, I think, in my mind, as in perfect stride of like, yeah, I'm the number one center of the St. Louis Blues. I need to play like that. I need to elevate my game like that. And Kyra has kind of stayed quasi in the idea of, well, I'm still one of the kids. I'm still growing in my role here. I don't need to take on more responsibility as is.
Just
Yeah,
an
I'm just
update real
kinda-
quick too. Sidebar with it. Cardinals blew it in the
Cardinals?
ninth.
They lost again in the ninth.
They blew it in the ninth. They lost 7-4.
Nice.
Yeah, those were Avery.
Nice.
But not back to the Blues though. I think it should be an exciting offseason just with the potential. But I feel like we've said this a lot last few years, but I feel like this one's the first time it's like feels like if you're gonna if you want to make an advancement in your retool or rebuild whatever. At this point, they've been saying it's a retool, but it's essentially a rebuild at this point. Probably how long it's taking.
With the mirage of last year, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
is there a
you.
captain right now?
There's not
They
a
don't have a
captain.
captain.
Yeah, see, that's how. How are you gonna say it's a retool and you don't even have a captain?
Yeah,
It's a rebuild.
which I'm fine with. I think they needed it, but I think, I think last year too, you just looked at where they were. You came off of a really impressive, like even though they lost in the first round, that was still a very impressive year. You felt like that, okay, now we can actually start building towards something. And then the
Yeah.
injuries just really hurt them in the beginning of the year, and they just got into a hole they couldn't dig themselves out of. And this is the year you have to make a big move at some point. You have to. If you don't, then you might just have a repeat of either last year or the year before, which is not what we want to see. We want to see them go deeper. At least I would say like round 2 to the Western Conference Final is what we should be seeing. If
Well,
they
it's
make
not only
big
that,
moves.
but you have to keep up with everyone else in the Central. Chicago's going to get better because they have a number 4 overall pick. They're racking up top line picks after like having years of just failure now. Colorado's still going to be Colorado. Dallas is still going to be Dallas. Minnesota just got Quinn fucking Hughes and has a crazy defensive core in front of them. Nashville's going to want a revenge, and they still have O'Reilly, Stamkos, Marshall,
They're old.
and Brady Shea. They're old, but they
they're
still
old.
give fits. Like they're still going to be competitive and want to take you on. Utah,
So Tarasenko too.
yeah, Utah coming in now this year. They made playoffs in the second year of existence, and they have Clayton Keller, St. Louis guy. They have Nick Schmaltz. They have their goalie Velmelka and everything like that, and they're doing great things to keep going forward. And then you have to assume Winnipeg's going to have a bounce back.
Yeah.
So you have to keep up with this division.
Well, I hope she bounces back if she jets when I peg her.
Yeah, when I peg her, she jets.
Oh God. Yeah, it will definitely be interesting. I'm looking for when is the draft? That's like in July, right?
It's whenever I think it's whenever Iran strikes back.
It's in 24 days, so that would be about.
So it's gonna be like late June.
Yeah, it's like July 1st. July
July
1st or that first week, yeah.
Okay.
I better start going to the gym.
Yeah. They're gonna pick you up, Mason.
All right. Well, you got anything else for the Blues or anything else before we
Nah.
wrap it up?
What are you looking for with their sale? Did the sale happen yet?
Oh, yeah, that happened this last weekend. I was too
Oh,
tired
did you
to go
go?
out. No, I was too tired to go to it, and like I had a moment where I was like, I don't need another
You talking about
jersey.
that like yard sale thing?
Yeah, they do their summer sale where you can buy like a bunch of equipment, like their helmets and gloves and stuff, which is like it's cool novelty stuff. And some people do use it for like actual practical use as they're like if they play like men's league and whatnot. But if you're me, you're just like, I just think it's cool to have skates. I think it'd be cool to have the goalie's pads. But I'm like, I
Wearing
didn't need
skates
it
that are
this
too
year.
big for you.
Yeah.
Just walk around your house in skates.
Yeah, I gotta make it worth every dollar.
You can put skates behind you, like I have Travis Feeney's cleats back here.
Yeah, that's what I would do it for, but I was indifferent about it this year to where I was like, yeah, I'll deal with it later.
Brennan, you should if Sean gets skates, you should get that old Cardinals Hall of Famer who did the tarps off thing with his shirt in that one video.
Al Herbosky.
The guy with the giant handlebar.
Yeah, man. The
you
man.
should buy that shirt that he swung around and then just wear it every episode. Don't wash it.
Oh man, that's.
Or you should get a tarp soft machine for behind your desk, and it's just like a sideways oscillating fan, and it's like throwing it around back there.
Oh man, no, I mean, I was impressed to see his physique. I was like, he's like 75. He looked like he was in good shape.
He looked like he was gonna star in the sequel to Wild Hogs when I saw him.
No, he was crazy in his career. He would like fight people. He was a closing pitcher, and he would like throw at batters and like start fights in like the 70s.
Oh, the 70s. I was gonna say, when was his decade? Yeah, he played in the 70s. He looks really really good.
Yeah, he looks good. He looks good for his age. Yeah, but a lot of those, he used to be a color broadcaster for the Cardinals too, like years ago, and now he's like on like post game stuff sometimes. But I think he there was like one instance where like I think it was like 2 years ago. Is it last year or 2 years ago where he's like talking about how bad the Cardinals were? He's like with this performance, it makes me just want to like get on the edge of a balcony in my hotel room and jump off.
I remember that.
He said that like on the broadcast, and it didn't go over well. And then like the one girl who's like co-hosting it with him, she's like, "Okay, I guess we're gonna go down to the locker room for interviews." It was
what
funny.
A guy.
Dude, I always said they need to have like a simulcast. It's not just like in Spanish, and then there's the American one. There needs to be one that's like PG-13 or whatever.
Oh,
and then there needs to be like rated R, like
the Joe Buck call. Do you remember that, Sean? The Joe Buck version where it's like the David Freeze's homer is like, Freeze has fucking tied it.
Yeah.
7.
That's all I want, dude. Honestly, giving rated R like
dude,
broadcast
rated R, it would be so good.
Oh, it would be so entertaining.
It would so be easy to transition into like watching a new sport or a new team, because you could just like be there for what the people are saying too.
You have like the most diehard.
Like it's a
give
whole
the
meeting.
Broadcaster alcohol, like give them tequila, the drink, so it gets progressively more obnoxious as the game goes on.
Yeah, like slurring their words and stuff.
Hey, here at Behind the Loo, we promote fucking up your broadcasters.
No, and then it's like by the 9th inning when like Riley O'Brien blows it like he did today. He's like, fucking loser, put the game.
He doesn't. His badge doesn't clear him to stay at the stadium too late either, so he has to drive home right afterwards. Like, no, you gotta get out of here.
You gotta go now. So.
All right. Well, I guess that concludes our first episode. We plan on trying to do these weekly. We can't promise that, but we want to make sure we're still consistent enough to provide content for you guys. And we have a lot more than just sports that we're going to be covering too. And we got more people on the show possibly as well. So if you haven't already, subscribe. If you've been subscribed since 2023, thank you,
back.
I guess. Yeah, welcome. That's like, it's amazing if you're still here. But no, like I said, we have a lot of fun stuff planned through moving forward with this page and the content we want to create. So with that, we'll see you guys later.
Hold on, one more thing.
Yeah.
Are we posting this week, right?
I'm gonna try to upload it tomorrow, like tonight to tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Everyone get to the Dome on Sunday. 5
Oh,
o'clock
yeah.
game. Final Battlehawks game for the playoffs. Watch that curse get broken. It's going to be a special time.
We'll be tailgating.
Don't watch the curse.
We'll get there.
Don't watch the curse be broken. Be what breaks the curse.
Yeah, get there. I want everyone's shirts off. Actually, you know what? There'll come a point in the game where if we want you to put your shirt back on, we'll let you know. But plan on taking your shirt off.
If you see us with t-shirt cannons,
I'll let you know. Yeah.
We'll be tailgating too. So
we'll be tailgating off Biddle Street. If you guys want to come say hi, or section 139.
Yeah, Brendan, can you print out a huge flag for us and then just be like,
oh, that'd be sick. Can you imagine a behind the loop flag? Oh, that'd be
all
awesome.
for it.
That'd be awesome.
Off my flag too from the Bronco.
Yeah.
Like people can see us. Like you can walk in your horseshoe and see it.
That'd be cool.
Maybe if we get bigger, then we just do that. Like we make Biddle Street our fucking playground for battlehawks.
That's Biddle, yeah. That's Biddle Boulevard. Yeah.
A Biddle Boulevard.
Behind Biddle Street. That's what we'll call it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.